live. All right. About to drop the intro as soon as I fucking find this bitch. Shit. I don't know how this shit don't never be popping up. It's the only thing that we use with the name intro. Oh no, I lied. We got a swerve intro on this motherfucker too. Why do we have a swerve intro? Anyway. Welcome to Reasonable Wrestling, everybody.
Welcome.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's happening, everybody? It is I, the Most High, my tag team partner, Chidi, a.k.a. Chidi Bang, and we are Reasonable Wrestling, man. What's happening with you, man?
What's good? No, nothing. We're good. We're good. You know, it's been a good week. We're here to talk some wrestling. We're here to, chop it up. We are the Underground of Professional Wrestling Podcast. If you know, now you know. This is where you're going to get your wide scope, reasonable wrestling takes. Hop on EIWshop.com. Purchase a shirt. We got everything is wrestling popping off right now.
Come on.
And please show them the papers. Go out there and purchase.
Oh, you got them right there?
The joint roller, Ayatollah papers.
Come on. Every camera. On
EIWshop.com and cop some papers. If you don't got your size, we got you soon coming up. We're going to fix that. But what you can at least do is support and cop some papers because I know y'all smoke.
No, y'all niggas smoke. Yeah, I mean, so like my homie said, we got king size wise for you. I know a lot of papers out there is king size slim, so I gave you an extra centimeters pause on the width. You know what I mean, to make you a little bit more girthier joint. Pause. You know what I'm talking about? So we smoking big Ayatollahs, joint roller Ayatollahs, and if you fuck with wrestling, do you know why that name is synonymous? Because yeah, I mean. But outside of that, man, we chilling, dog. We're here on our bi-weekly, bi-monthly? That's what it is?
Right now, it is bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly.
We do have a Patreon, so also support the Patreon.
Come on!
Because we have a lot of extra content you can get on there. If the bi-monthly just ain't enough for you guys, and you want more reasonable takes, you want some people who really have nuanced conversations about wrestling. Nuanced conversations,
dropping bombs.
Then you can get some more reasonable takes on the Reasonable Wrestling Patreon, patreon.com/Reasonable Wrestling. So, with that being said, let's go right into the show.
What's happening?
The news that broke yesterday. Sad to report. I'm sure you guys all heard it already. But Bayley has been injured training. She right now, like we said, Bayley is a bona fide veteran. She's a bona fide foundation of the current women's division in wrestling right now in WWE. And to see that she has now, she's been injured training to get prepared for her I Quit match, it was as a travesty. They're saying that she might be out for 9 months, which is it sucks because she might potentially miss WrestleMania, and that's where I felt like, oh fuck, because people get injured all the time. But she just was hosting WrestleMania where she was the ding dong thing with Hulk Hogan and everything, but she didn't get the match, and then this
she didn't have. My thing is,
you gotta say
she didn't have a match because she wasn't as relevant as she was. She wasn't relevant for the card, but like you said, she was important enough to be on the card.
Ding dong,
hello thing and everything like that. What I was gonna comment on is that not so much WrestleMania, or she's going to project miss 9 months for WrestleMania. I don't even know projection-wise, character-wise, or who's going to. We see SmackDown moving very quickly of who's going to be there, and the shifting of the guard. Shout out to Joe Herbert from the Distraction Fightful. I'll be running into a little bit of shit with RSS, SRS, or whatever the case may be. But I fuck with a lot of people over there. And he had a take yesterday about how the NXT's women's division making their imprint on the roster is good.
No, absolutely.
And so I'm looking at it right now. Bayley was the last of the standing of the old guard. Bayley was the last person, like you say, how valuable
right now,
she is.
The only active woman in the Four Horsewomen is Charlotte, and she's the only one, and she's on Raw.
Yeah.
So right now there's an influx of new talent. Sorry, girls, Carmella, all the other girls who could have made their mark during this time. Obviously, Carmella's gonna have a match with Bianca, but these new girls coming in, and they're serious, man. Like these NXT girls that are coming in, we talk about it every week. NXT had the best women's division in wrestling right now, and I don't think that it's even a question. I think that if you hating on that, then I don't know what to tell you. They're the most relevant women's division. It's just NXT.
Listen, I understand niggas watching Deonna Purrazzo and Mickey James, and I feel you on that.
They probably wouldn't even tell you that NXT get busy. They get busy, yo. Like I'm gonna be honest, like and they're young upcoming people, girls and stars. We got Rhea Ripley now, women's champion. Bianca Belair, SmackDown women's champion. Tegan Nox and Shotzi just debuted on SmackDown.
Toni Storm's coming
up there. So we have an influx of talent, but it'd be remiss to not mention that, Bayley missing out and being able to groom these girls on the main roster like she did for Bianca and giving her that rub is important. Who are they going to rub against? If everybody at the top is also new, trying to get their status up.
I will say this. I will say this as important in how I would say the immediate reaction for me was Money in the Bank with Bayley. You see what I'm saying? Because as we projected for WrestleMania, I wanted the immediate payoff to the icon, because what my mindset, and this is sorry Bianca, but creatively, now I know a lot of marks is like what I would do or whatever the case may be, but I would have loved to see some of the callback spots from previous I Quit matches, and possibly have Bianca drop the title, paying homage to Rocky and Mick Foley, with having like maybe Bianca gets knocked out by Bayley or some shit, and she puts her has I Quit. I had a visual like Bayley can do that run, and in front of live crowds, Bianca can do chase in front of live crowds. You know what I mean? Like, so I had that envision of like see what creatively they would be able to pull off, because honestly, they are two unique athletes with two very unique minds in the business, and so not to go in there to compare them, but to see what they put a little twinge on, you know what I mean?
What I feel like with Bianca and Bayley, they have such great chemistry that not only did Bayley elevate Bianca, obviously as a new up-and-coming star in WWE, but I think Bianca was finally level to elevate and make Bayley important again too. Like, not that Bayley didn't have the whole pandemic era, with Sasha, but I was feeling like she was waiting for Sasha to come back. When Sasha came back, they had their shtick, and then they had their match, and then Bayley was back to being, trying to figure out what's going on, where she was at. Bayley gave that little bit of emphasis and makes you feel like, oh, I want to see this match. Bayley had a lot of girls that came at her when she was champion that really just weren't on her level.
That was true. That was true. Bayley had a 383-day reign, and it didn't really feel like it mattered until the end when it was time for Sasha to take it off. So she boasts on that. She boasts on that run a lot. But I do not believe that run was as successful in hindsight, as people project, make it the projection for it.
It's gonna be tough in the women's division when all these new cats are coming up. But when Bayley gets back, I mean, come on, ding dong, hello, she's gonna take that crown again. And I want to just give a well wishes to her, and may she get well soon, because I mean, we're huge fans of Bayley, and we're looking forward to returning.
I think Bayley, it's crazy. I was gonna say, Bayley and Seth Rollins are so in sync that these niggas fucking rip their fucking knee out. But right, he wrestling Kane like for what? You know what I mean? And she's training for a match, and she's, I'm not gonna say for what, but damn girl, like to rip your fucking knee off, like what the fuck was you trying to do? Haul a U-Haul, nigga? Like what was it like?
What makes Bayley so good is that she honestly is a student of the game. Like she's constantly perfecting her craft, whether it be in the microphone, whether it be in the ring. She constantly is getting better and increasing her
That's a good take right
cachet.
there.
So and she got into a level right now where she knows who she is in the ring. She knows who she is on the mic, and she consistently is improving. So for her to rip her knee out, trying to get better to show out and do an I Quit match, and and just keep on getting better in her craft, I think that's commendable. Now for Seth and Kane, I mean, I don't know why that happened. For the live event, you got to go out there and do a live event. You try to do a freaking, sunset flip, boom, knee pops. It happens. But with Bayley, when I found out she got injured during training, I was like, damn, she's still training. That's awesome. I think there's a lot of people backstage that don't train. I think there's people that go out there and they're like, I got it. They know that they got it. And not only is Bayley training, I think she also trains and helps other people get on and get better. So shout out to Bayley. Get better soon.
Shout out to Bayley. And what we're going to do is real quick, we're going to reset. We just dropped this topic, so we're going to go and flow with the rest of SmackDown. That kind of let off SmackDown, so we'll be right back with you in a couple seconds. Actually, it don't even got to take that long to reset nowadays. You know what I mean? Now, SmackDown, I do want to say, see, I was ahead of you, timer. You know what I mean? I was ahead of you, timer. Feel me?
Wait, time out.
What happened? Oh, damn. What happened here?
I paused it because I thought.
Why? No.
You want to flow through the commercial breaks?
I mean, I can edit it. But yeah. Shit, if I fuck with the garage band, man, I'll be forgetting to turn that shit, click that shit on, man. We'll have no podcast.
Like last week? Like last 2 weeks ago?
Yes. Yeah. So speaking of what we just came back, we didn't go nowhere. Speaking of SmackDown, that broke before SmackDown. The news of Bayley broke before SmackDown. So we was anticipating what SmackDown was going to look like for the duration of the show, and then also a lot of people not really want to talk about it. Jimmy, what's up, Jimmy? You know what I mean? Jimmy Uso. You know what I mean? Who's going to see or try to see if Jimmy Uso was going to find some reprimand or get worked into the storyline with some of the things that he's been going through or some things that's been happening with him.
I honestly didn't even expect him to be on SmackDown because of what happened with his DUI. I thought they might say, hey, take some time off and figure out, what's going on with you, because this is what his third within a couple of years. And I don't want to get too deep into everybody has their, their demons. I know I got mine. We got our vices. But I want to wish him well, first and foremost, on a real tip. On a second tip, on a creative aspect, should they include the DUI angle into storytelling? And I personally think that it's nothing wrong with doing that because we've seen it done in the past with Hawk and Anno. With Jeff Hardy.
I'm not gonna lie. This is where I love racial stereotypes having double standards. Because throwing a black nigga business out there when black nigga business already been out there, you feel me? Like, do you throw salt in the wound at that time? And
they did it. So case in point, like they steered clear from it. He brought him in. They gave him a hug. It's all about family. They're gonna be even only a little bit of reference was Jay was like saying like during this time, even during hard times, I got your back. And that's real brother shit. And I believe that they're not touching on it right now out of respect for Jimmy or John. I believe that that's respectful. Now, me personally, I say there's no double standards when it comes to this business. And if you're willing to do that for somebody who's white, why not be able to do it for somebody who's Samoan or black, whatever you want to say, and put it. And eventually, what I personally like to see is.
Do you trust WWE to be tasteful? Because back in the day, they weren't tasteful. So
I trust them to. Since they didn't do it this week, yeah, I do. I feel like there's a way to do it tastefully, where it's just what I want to see eventually, because we've seen the dissension between Jay and Jimmy on how they approach Roman being a tribal chief.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Jimmy get exiled from the family.
For what?
Whatever storyline telling they got to do for him to become a face, for him to become a baby face, a strong baby face. My whole thing is Jimmy has such great personality on the microphone. I see a strong baby face in him, and he's great in the ring as well. I think that he can be a United States champion. And
what makes you? And I want to what makes you think Jimmy's that with not seeing Jimmy as much as you see Jay, because Jay has been in front of you for like a year straight.
I can go get my tea. I got the whole, get him tea. I'm gonna get him tea because I respect Jay, but I can't front. Jay on the mic is different than Jimmy on the microphone. Jimmy on the microphone, he has a different swagger to him, and I'm not saying that, Jay's bad or anything. I think that I want to see a Jay versus Jimmy feud one day, and this is how you get there. You get there by him being exiled from the family and saying, "Oh, you don't represent us anymore." And I'm not sure how you do it. I'm not saying you got to even bring up the DUI thing. Maybe he loses a match. Maybe he messes up Roman's reign, or maybe he messes something up and he messes up the tag team championship, he loses the belt, or whatever it may be. Jimmy getting exiled and Roman attacking him, and then Jay's like, whoa, what's going on? And then Jay goes and attacks him too, and he jumps on him like it's a pack of dogs, and they put him through a table or whatever it may be and say, listen, you're a disgrace to the family, you're out of here, That right there gives me a little bit of like, that's real storytelling to me. That's real storytelling that you don't even got to address head on what really happened in real life, but you can get the notion of, oh, okay, now he's on his own. He's gonna have to figure his shit out, and whether he takes
this is an impromptu book. I think this is a book and a half book. This is a book and half and half, right?
Booking some more.
I mean, like, my thing is, where does Jimmy? And this is totally like rant. Like this wasn't even a runchy. Where does Jimmy and Jay go separately?
Well, Jay as a right hand man to Roman has been hinting that he trusts Jay more than Jimmy already. You stay backstage, Jimmy. I got this. And then Jay's like, I'm looking for your brother. I need Jay. He's hinting that. So I think the little tea leaves they've been planting are seeds of dissension down the line that we can play into maybe a Jay versus Jimmy match. So I'm really dead ass feel like. When it comes to these, they're all very charismatic. They all can go in the ring. What I want to see eventually that happen. I want to see that the family dissension blow up. Right now, them being a unit makes it even more impactful when they do break up. Just like the Shield.
Damn. See, when I watch that and I'm like, yo, I need the forever bloodline. I need
forever. There's no such thing as forever.
But I need
in wrestling.
I need either Jimmy and Jay to separate from Roman or they stay together.
Nah, I need the Jay versus Jimmy match at WrestleMania or something. I need brother versus brother. That has drama into it. That's drama right there. That's storytelling.
Now, can they have the match and them not break up? Is there a way that they can do? Let's say we look at Rey Mysterio, like the Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. They went into WrestleMania against each other. Of course they broke up down the line. I was going to say, tag team champions have wrestled each other, but brothers, I don't know. I don't want to see Matt Hardy and
Bret Owen, Edge Christian, whatever you want to say. They always have a built-in storytelling where it just works, bro. It just works. Matt Hardy and Jeff, they broke up too, and they had a storyline where Matt Hardy was plotting and scheming and blew him up and shit, and then he found out later on it was all Matt behind it all. Like, that is just built-in drama that you can't, if you don't tell that story, you're missing out on something. And it's like, oh, we stayed. I don't want them to be the New Day. I've been waiting for Big E heel turn for years. I might never get that, but you better give me a Jay versus Jimmy feud, because that shit right there is gonna make me tune into a pay-per-view, and I'm gonna want to see how they link up in a singles match. And I'm sure they want to do it too. I'm sure they want to have that match one day.
I would love for them to have that match, but like you say, respectfully,
I want there to be stakes, though. I want there to be a reason why they're having it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
If he wins the match, he's back part of the bloodline. I don't know what you want to do about it, but then after the match, they can hug and get back together. I don't care.
So let's just, since we're here for SmackDown, the booking of the show, the beginning of the show, end of the show. How did you like the beginning? I love Jay coming. I pop Jay coming back.
You want to roll in this one? Because I can't do it while talking. He's a joint relax one, not me. Not me. He's a joint relax one. I'm gonna be honest. I got a contract like a motherfucker. Like, all right, how the fuck?
Yeah. What I was gonna say is, with the show, Jay coming back. I pop for Jay. They bring Jimmy back into the family. It seems like a cohesive unit. We see now Roman kind of gaslighted everything and worked a kind of maniacal plan, to have his family manipulated.
Yeah.
With that being said, is he manipulating the situation correctly with Edge? I mean, I know Edge gonna get the fuck up out of here. I know that. Now, like that, like at the end of the day, like Edge is not beating Roman. Like Edge not taking the title from Roman.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. I say that because I know that you're right, but I don't put it past WWE to swerve us at any point when it comes to certain people. And granted, Edge is a veteran, and I don't see him being the one to take the Roman, to be the one to take the title off him. But if they did, I wouldn't be mad if they did it in a way that was creative. With the Jays and Jimmy, maybe costing Roman the title, or maybe Seth, costing Edge the match and then Roman wins it. That's cool too. I don't know how they're gonna get to Edge versus Seth. But I want to see that, and maybe Seth wins Money in the Bank, and we'll get to that in a minute. But and I believe that Roman and Edge, regardless one-on-one, is a match that is worthy to there be some kind of doubt, unlike Ray versus Roman, granted, at WrestleMania you picked Edge to win, mind you. I picked Roman. You picked Edge to win WrestleMania, so why can't Edge win here?
I mean, going off of hindsight being 2020. I thought that they were going to. Do a certain storyline.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank. That's a B show for a swerve. That is. Now
you're right.
A swerve for Vince to make niggas know that their money is worth it. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about business wise, like. To like, yo,
anything can happen.
Anything can happen if you pull up, nigga. Mm-hmm. Like you may think like we saw those two black niggas smoking weed talking about this shit ain't gonna work. We gonna make, you know what I mean? Like this can fucking pull a trigger, you feel me? So with that being said, like, but I think WrestleMania would have been the moment to crown Edge, and then we kind of moved into the storyline of Edge and do something with Edge.
Yeah.
This tribal chief thing, I really think that with the stories of Cena having the time off, you gotta have Roman Cena you can't do it at Great Balls of Fire or wherever the fuck they did it last time. That shit gotta be ran out of SummerSlam. It gotta be ran out of SummerSlam.
The story going right now around is that Cena won't be there at SummerSlam, and Brock is not guaranteed either. So I don't know what they got planned for SummerSlam.
I don't know what. Okay, I don't have my sources. The thing. We're gonna let this ride out real quick. I don't have my sources right now about who reported what, but I do know that Brock ain't missing no payday in Vegas. I can get, bruh. I don't know what I have to bet or how I have to bet. DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever, nigga. Brock ain't missing Vegas.
Okay.
And we can book that.
But Cena might, because he's having a movie that's going to be shot this summer.
Well, that's what I was. Now, that's why I said I don't have my sources. Cena's is cleared from what I understand from shooting obligations for the summer. So it'll be idealistically for Roman to send that nigga packing for his promotional fall tour.
Okay.
That's my. I'm like, again, shout out to Pete talking about fans and shit like that. But if I am trying to schedule shit and make the most maximize money, shit like that, Roman sending Cena off to do promotional tours on fucking Fast 9 and fucking Suicide Squad 2, and then solidifying himself.
Yeah.
That's money to me. That's money to me. So
I think he's actually filming a different movie though. Like that's what I heard, but I could be wrong. I don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know people's
like you
schedules.
said, schedules. Right. You said, right.
With that being said, if they, for instance, granted, you don't know if for instance Roman and Cena can't be done this summer, why can't Edge be champion going into SummerSlam and have a rematch with Roman or have a triple threat with Seth or something like that?
Edge. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep it funky right now, and that's because yes, fans saw their booking and they're gonna stick with it, and they're gonna be upset if they don't get it. Edge Roman 2 at SummerSlam, not what you think it is.
Edge Roman Seth.
Okay. Edge Roman SummerSlam 2.
I get it because they're trying to make this the biggest WrestleMania event, and what we want is Bobby Brock. You want Cena Roman. I hear you.
Or
I want Seth and Edge.
Or you can give me Seth and Roman.
Seth and Roman.
Edge can't be part of it.
I got you.
Like my thing is now. That's my thing now. So Edge going into SummerSlam as champion, triple threat with Roman Reigns and a Money in the Bank cash-in of Seth Rollins. Now we have a duplication of what we had 6 years ago, and Roman never got his just due after that.
I mean, if Seth doesn't even win the Money in the Bank, you can still put him in the match and figure out a way to get him in there.
Correct.
So I hear you, and I'm just trying to see where we at because we have options. People act sometimes like it's all written in stone. Like this is it. We have Roman Brock. I mean, we got Roman Cena, Brock, Bobby, and then if we don't get it, fans are like, I'm gonna be honest.
Even if it ain't Roman Cena, Roman Drew will be better than Roman Edge and Seth. Roman Drew too.
How the hell do you get Drew to SmackDown? How the hell you make that happen?
Well, I'm okay. You spoke of replaying everything. You spoke of last week. Drew can win Money in the Bank, right? That's right. And you automatically was like, oh, Drew can go after Bobby or whatever the case may be. Drew may win Money in the Bank and can go after Roman because that Survivor Series match slapped.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Or we can we see people coming up in the roster. We don't know if roster switching around like that. I do visualize things bigger than Edge being in a marquee.
I got you.
You know what I mean? Like Edge got his pop at Royal Rumble. Edge got his WrestleMania return.
I'm gonna say this though.
You know what I mean?
Edge, him getting bigger and more. He took the time off. He got a little more muscle on. He has an aggression about him. I know you're not feeling his promos. I think they're not that bad.
They're not. No, they're not that bad. I mean, they're. I mean, now the thing about it, I'm not okay. Edge's promos are only repetitive because they're repetitive. They're coming back. He did this. He said it already. He said it already, and then he did the move already. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And the progression of the storyline is Roman scared of Edge? Is Edge in Roman's head? Roman's up there watching.
But that's how they have to do it. Roman's been unpenetrable this entire time.
Correct.
So he has somebody that's on his level or to some degree can penetrate that steel armor of that force of untouchableness. I don't know.
And I'm not trying to be too smart here and say, well, because they're booking it this way, then that means Roman is going to win. Because realistically, that's what we would. That's what we're thinking.
Playing the train and be like, benefit of the doubt. Because I don't want, if we don't get what we want as fans, to then be pissing and moaning. Because SummerSlam is still going to be lit. It's still going to be great. And with Edge's performance since he's been back, first of all, I want to tip my cap to him because, coming back from an injury after all these years, we don't know what that's like. We don't know what he's risking every time he's out there. And he's been putting on great performances.
Correct.
And at his age, I still believe that he could be champion, believe it or not. Unlike certain people like Goldberg and, I don't want to see that again. Like Edge, I can see him holding the belt and being credible at his age. And I don't know, I can't say it for everybody. Thank you very much. Join Royal Ito. Go cop the papers, man. Look at this shit, man. Look at this shit, man. Go cop it.
Big doings, you feel me?
For real.
Big doings. Yes, sir.
But, the more and more I see Edge, the more and more I actually kind of want to see him hold the belt again. I'm kind of rooting for the guy. And maybe they're working me, but hey, that's what we're here for, to get work, have fun watching wrestling, and to predict and see how things turn out. At the end of the day, I'm very entertained all around with SmackDown. I keep saying that right now it's the best thing in wrestling. I know NXT is great too. We'll get into a conversation about AEW in a minute. But right now, SmackDown from show to beginning to end kind of makes me feel. It kind of makes me feel like the way I used to feel watching wrestling and saying, "Oh, things are flowing." I kind of feel like they're putting shit together in the right position. They're trying to. The only thing I think the gap in SmackDown has been what they're doing with Otis and Chad Gable. I don't know where they're going with that. But I do say this: if you see Otis on TV and you are flicking the channel, you're gonna stop and say, "What is this guy?" He grabs your attention. So with SmackDown being said, I gotta hand it to the writing staff, the production staff, and they're doing Roman. It's very subtle storytelling. I don't feel things are all sweet with the family, But when they say things, they set things up. They're setting up the Seth and Edge thing little by little. It's kind of like how they did back in the day, where they have backstage segments that people are not in the angle with right now, but you see that their interaction still happens backstage. I really like what they're doing with SmackDown. Edge is saying, hey, the family reunion is not going to be all good, and that's a prediction. I mean that's a spoiler, not a prediction. That's a spoiler. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. And then he goes out there and he gets the freaking steel bar, puts it on them, and Roman's there, and he's not helping his cousins out. It brings it full circle. And to me, what I'm not looking for wrestling is storytelling. I'm getting that with SmackDown, and I appreciate it.
I would say, with that being said, too, SmackDown is presenting themselves very well and projecting themselves very well for the future, right? We saw Seth and Cesaro have another great. Speaking of Seth qualified for, speaking of Seth qualified for the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. We got 3 minutes on it. He qualified for the Money in the Bank with Cesaro. And we saw color in that match. We saw a different match that they had at WrestleMania. We saw a different match that they had at Backlash, right? So this was a different match. The psychology was a little bit different, although it was the same. Two veterans trying to work over each other, trying to win the match, trying to get the advantage, trying to get the edge. It was a great match, a great finish.
Yeah.
Seth qualifying for the Money in the Bank. Only just
it just makes that match more fire.
It does.
I mean, think about it. We have everybody in that match could legitimately win. You got Ricochet, you got Seth, Big E, KO, Riddle, Drew McIntyre,
Big E.
I said Big E.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Morrison.
And Morrison. Morrison can't win. But out of everybody else, maybe Ricochet can't win either. But out of everybody else, I think can legitimately hold that briefcase. At this point with the steam they have behind them.
Now Riddle's not going to win it either because Randy's going to cause the.
I hope we get the Randy Riddle at SummerSlam.
That's what we're going
to get. But I could see Riddle doesn't need it. I'll be honest. I would love to see him hold it. Don't get me wrong, but Riddle doesn't.
What is the briefcase going to be? A weed stasher?
Yes, exactly.
If fucking Riddle comes out and open a briefcase and weed falls out of it, what the fuck?
Yo, man. Or maybe he, maybe a paraphernalia falls. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be excited for this match because they can all go. And what the creativity we're going to get from it, I can't wait to see what. I think this is going to be classic. I think this has the potential to be a classic Money in the Bank match. And I would have liked to see Sammy in there, but KO's in there, and I'm not going to be mad about it because KO's great too. If you saw him on the microphone when Seth is out there going crazy, he's like, "Oh yeah, stop with the thing, that helps." KO is hilarious, bro. He's hilarious. Him and Sammy, I love those two guys. But every time KO has the microphone in his hand, every time KO's out there, he's always booking himself or getting himself over towards the title on Talking Smack. He called Paul Heyman on his cell phone and said, "Hey, I'm on Talking Smack. Remember, I told you I'm coming after Roman." He gets it. He's not taking himself out the fray just because he's not the main event right now. He's always saying that he's coming after the title still. And KO could win possibly to get him have more steam. So at this point, Money Bank is. Unfortunately, we're not going to get Bianca versus Bayley. But Money in the Bank is shaping up to be an interesting event. The title's gonna be on the line with Kofi and Bobby. I know you're not a big fan of that. We'll get to that when we get to Raw. But just for this one match alone, this Money in the Bank match, I'm tuning in and I can't wait to see it.
Speaking of Bobby and Drew, I'm sorry, not Bobby and Drew, Bobby and Kofi. I'm not interested in Bianca and Carmella since we're just staying here on SmackDown. Shout out to Liv. Liv almost wanted to like legit cry. Like I'm not again, very good at her job or work.
I think no. I think that
you know what I mean. I'm sorry. Shoot, very good at her job, or it's a shoot. Oh yeah.
Oh man, some good shit.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's talk about Liv for a second. In a second.
But since we're
shout out to Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan has had an opportunity with the whole lot of angle. Was the greatest opportunity? No. She's getting another opportunity now where she's kind of being, she won matches and she still wasn't putting the Money in the Bank. Finally, Bayley gets injured. Carmella's going to go face Bianca next week. Liv's putting the Money in the Bank match. We all knew that she was going to get in the match anyhow, one way or another. She was on the bump, and X-Pac was trying to give her advice, telling her she deserves it, she's earned it, and I completely agree with that. Liv has put up, she has look. She can go in the ring. She's not necessarily the most technical or anything like that, but she's still advancing. Liv, you got to make this opportunity work. You got to make it work because these girls from NXT ain't playing around, and they're coming. You got Toni Storm on your ass. Come when she gets up there. You got Tegan Knox, Shotzi, and the more and more Liv grows, she'll get there one day where she knows her character. I don't think she completely knows who she is on the mic yet. And that if she wins the Money in the Bank title, the briefcase, I'm not necessarily sure she's ready for it.
I'm gonna keep it G. Like, no, she's not gonna win the briefcase. As far as having a showcasing, I do believe she's gonna have that. To comment on
this is what this is for. This is her opportunity to showcase herself.
Well, yeah,
not to win necessarily.
Well, I will say this: single star. Nobody really thought Liv was ready to be a single star, right? Liv was in the
fired all her girls.
True. She was in the joint with the Riot Squad, and she was the X-Pac, I would say, of the Riot Squad. Very easily able to get over. That group can be a babyface or a heel, and Liv can work that she can take the bump, she can whatever the case may be. When it comes to her character, I do believe Carmella ripped off the original Carmella that was with Enzo and Kaz and the Jersey Girl and shit like that is Liv. Is Liv. You know what I mean? Outside of WWE. So when you always say your character is turned up of you to you, she saw somebody be her, and that can really fuck. I'm not gonna speak.
How you find your lane at that point?
Right. Yeah. I'm not gonna speak on Liv and say that, but I know personally seeing a nigga take off with some poetry shit, and I'm like, damn, nigga, like you ain't even really that. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Like Carmella is a LA Lakers dancer. Like she's the glamour.
Which is what they need to tell going forward with Liv and Carmella going forward.
Yes.
If Liv can go on the mic and say, I am from New Jersey. You came out here with that fake ass accent, and now you're the most beautiful girl on SmackDown or WWE.
Jersey bitches do not talk like that.
Yeah, I'm here to take you down a notch and show you who you really are. That angle can really make Liv take it to the next level. That
will be, like you say, that will be the showcasing of Liv. Now, I do think this is the first step. The Money in the Bank is the first step. And I think also that Lana angle was the first kind of thing where WWE looked at Liv and was like, okay.
I think they've been looking at Liv for a while because she's a pretty girl.
But as far as
the
singles can carry, because they didn't do much with the Lana thing, honestly. honestly, but when she got moved to SmackDown currently, and she's still garnering the attention and the relevancy from fans, and the admiration, and then she is going out there on the mic, right?
Because I've seen her outside of WWE. She has a real personality that we haven't seen on TV.
Correct.
And I wanted to blend a little bit of that to really, get it, and take it to the next level. In the ring, I think I like her moveset. She has things that pop, but I think that she can obviously keep training. But she's not the one right now for the Money in the Bank. I hope that I don't want to say I don't hope she's gonna win it, but I do. I think she needs some more more time, and that's just my opinion.
You want to say you hope she'll win it because that shit is like I'm not gonna lie, that money. Damn, we spent a lot of time on SmackDown.
They gave it, I know. They gave it to Otis last year, right? And I was happy they gave it to Miz because I'm like, it's believable if he can win it or not. If Otis goes and cashes in the title, I'm not thinking like, oh yeah, he's about to take the title. I'm sorry. If Liv goes and wins the title, the Money in the Bank briefcase, I'm not thinking that when she cashes it in, that is believable. And if she wins it, I'm gonna be sitting there like, okay, Liv's champion. But I don't think she's not there yet. Where I'm gonna be like, oh shit,
But and honestly, she's not there yet because let's be honest, like, we talk about the roster and how stacked it is. We look at Naomi and Shayna and Nia. Asuka, and then we was talking about the upper echelons of Bailey's and Charlotte's and Sasha's. You know what I mean? Like there are legit levels, and it's not not a bad thing to say that you aren't on a particular level.
And you got a lot of people, and I wish the best for them because I hope it's not like negative because I think that she got more time to go. I think that she has an it factor to her. Put it that way.
Yes,
she has an it factor to her.
Correct.
She's not at the level where I feel like she's level to. She's at the point where she's worthy of the briefcase per se. And that's just my opinion.
But she is worthy for a spot in the match.
Absolutely.
Which is, I think, what her as her character. That was what she was translating. Like, God damn, bitch! Like this bitch is Zelina.
Speaking of Zelina, I'm rooting for her to win. I don't care. Man, I'm a fan for Zelina. Zelina on the mic, Zelina in the ring. I think
Zelina versus Bianca.
Zelina with the briefcase just talking shit. Zelina with the briefcase just talking shit on a weekly basis. I'm watching SmackDown. So
who on the mic is better than Zelina in the women's division?
In the entire company?
I mean,
because you got the Becky Lynches, you got people who are like.
I mean, for sure, but listen, when Ivana hears Becky, she hates Becky's voice.
Oh, well,
she hates the accent.
She doesn't like the accent. I like the accent.
So that's what I mean. Like, I think having a Puerto Rican fucking sassy ass, that's very translatable.
She's a Bronx chick, and she don't even need to have the accent.
It don't have to be heavy, but the personality is there.
That
everybody knows that person though.
Yeah,
you work with that person. That's that nigga got a cubicle at your office. Like that's a friend at the fucking hair salon. Like everybody knows Zelina.
There's a reason why when people see Bianca, they're like, oh, has elements of herself in there. And she sounds different on the mic because she's just being herself, and she has elements of herself. She was just on Hot 97 on the Rosenberg, in the morning. Not breakfast. The other one.
Hot 97.
Hot 97. With their morning show.
God damn.
Whatever. I don't care. Whatever your shows are. I'm sorry, Peter Rosenberg, but you guys got.
It's so many morning.
There's so many morning shows. But yeah, she was on the radio show and. They asked her like, yo, when you say like, she says that when I say you're not gonna whoop me, like that's something she would just say to people. They're not gonna whoop me. I'm the EST. I'm the fastest. Whatever. It came a lot from who she was, and that's what made her pop. So yeah, you can have an it factor on her look and go do nice, cool things in the room, but to get that element of, oh, you're blending your reality with the television program and to the people say, I resonate with that. That's authentic.
Yes.
And that's what I was saying with Liv. You got to get to the point where it's authentic. With the Money in the Bank, when we look at Shayna Baszler, legit badass. It comes off authentic. So all we need is one of those people who look as if they got it together. And I don't think Liv is there. Zelina, I feel like is already there.
I think Zelina. I think without even Zelina having to perform as much as Liv has, like we just know that she has it. You know what I mean? So most like to Liv, love to Liv. Can't Love to live. You feel me? Can't wait to see you perform at Money in the Bank. That shit is gonna slap. Shit. Speaking of SmackDown and everything like that, and I found out, was it last SmackDown or SmackDown before last or whatever? SmackDown was going on the road next week to Texas. And then after that, the niggas gonna be in Miami.
Woo!
At Rolling Loud.
Yo.
At Rolling Loud, nigga. Like, what
Business
the,
and logic,
what
bro.
the fuck is going on? Shout out to Nick Khan.
Shout out to Nick. As much as I've been talking shit about you, Nick, I don't know you or anything like that, but you've been firing a lot of people. And it might not just been your decisions, but you've been firing a whole lot of our favorite people. However, Rolling Loud, great business idea. You talk about cross promotion with a festival, man. When you look at live events, put it that way, just live performances, whether it be the Olympics, whether it be the Oscars, whatever it be, getting an arena, say we're putting on a show, a festival like Rolling Loud. Those are the things that WWE can cross promote, where people are going to be at and be tuning into and saying, "Oh, I don't really watch wrestling." But they might have friends that watch wrestling, like, "Oh, you're gonna go to that wrestling thing? I'll go with you, or I'll tune in with you." And they'd be like, "Oh shit, I used to love this shit back in the day. I used to fuck with this shit back in the day." And you're growing your audience within the United States, and you're also cross promoting with the. It's who we are. We are wrestling fans. So people out there saying this is a bad business idea, you're fucking wrong.
They're white, is what they are. This is black. This is weed. This is wrestling. I mean, that's all the three things that we are. You feel me? And when it comes to what Nick Khan is, as far as the chief operation, I believe I'm not
chief financial officer, I think it is.
So with that being said, he is involved with, quote unquote, in part with Stephanie in the branding operation of it all. Okay, we make money by branding this way. Okay, hey, it's a whole other brand of people over here. You see what I'm saying? There's some people that we see online that claims and say that they're ostracized, that they're not marketed to, that they're not approached, that and hip hop culture for the most part is keeping wrestling alive. Let's keep it funky.
Shout out to Phil, who put the article out about WWE's reaching out to the culture, and their influence of Black culture and their product. Whether it be Hit Row doing a cipher, we'll get to that in a moment, or whether it be Rolling Loud, or whether it be having a rap battle a couple years ago. I think their mind has now opened up to like, oh, there's a lot of money to be made out here in this culture, because I think that Black people spend the most money in America commercially. That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So just look at it that way first and foremost. Black people spend money. When it comes down to it, marketing yourself with Rolling Loud, an event where it's legitimately gonna be a bunch of people just to have a good time. And what does WWE sell? They sell
a good time.
They sell a good time.
Now, also what WWE has not branched out to, and let's keep it funky, WWE has not branched out to an audience that is exclusively non-PG oriented.
Is this non-PG?
Okay.
I guess so. I mean, I guess we got our answer. Is this a sign of things changing with WWE?
I honestly do think so. Like I've never been a person that didn't see the evolution of growth in the business. So with things that they were doing, I kind of, oh man, you released all these women, you released more, things of that nature. Oh, you like, bro, I think the Saudi money is like 10 million every time you pull up. Like, I mean, I will take a plane there. You know what I mean? Like, I think we talked about this before, but with that being said, the expansion of business has always been the forefront of WWE. And for people who mainly, like me, watch only WWE, the expansion of WWE just actually means, like we see, the more Japanese talent that they've been bringing in, the more UK talent that they've been bringing in, because of the, they have their expansive markets out there of NXT, and then the general audience of wrestling that goes to, Germany and Australia and shit like that. they bring in the Peyton Royces and the Billy Kays and the Sheamuses.
Yeah, WWE is global right now.
So those go right. So that's what I'm saying. Threads. So those threads bring in those wrestlers. So when it comes to the business and the things that Nick Khan's been doing and signs for things to change, I definitely think we're going to see less Poppy on Mamas. I think we're going to see less.
I'm not sure if we're ever going to see less Poppy. I think Triple H loves that bitch. I think he loves that woman. I try not to, but this is who I am. Fuck it. But I think he loves Poppy, and I think that we're going to see more of her in NXT. But with that being said, I think we'll see a little bit more of hopefully West Side Gun. Hopefully we see a little bit more Wale.
Lil Wale, Smoke Dizzy.
And I think having them get a WrestleMania performance would be like so fucking ill, man. Like,
I mean, listen, again, Wale just did Big E.
Yeah,
at WrestleMania. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, like that's the thing. So when you say things of size to change, no lie, statistically, hip hop is the most influential thing in the world, above religion. Like, wow. and musically, it's overtaken country as the most listened to genre of music. Okay. So rap, hip hop is super astronomical.
It's a part of people's identity,
Identity, bro. Like,
and it's not just black people,
right?
It's
exactly
like you're saying, it's a global thing. So with this being a business move, they're going to Rolling Loud. I believe that it's an expansion and it's showing a trend that I hope WWE continues. Whether it's even just yesterday Cesaro, just bled on TV, and we act like nothing ever happened. Like
Charles Robinson didn't put on gloves. He didn't put on gloves. He didn't. He had him out, and then hold on, don't let me lie. I don't believe
they didn't have him wiped up. They didn't stop the match like they used to do with Samoa Joe back in NXT. Yep. Stop the match, wipe the guy up. No, he literally. I'm not sure if it was I think it was legit, like a blade. It looked like a blade job to me. And I was like, oh, they're doing blade jobs again? Like, this is where we're going to a realm with WWE where it might be a little bit more risky. I think AEW kind of opened that branch up where it's like they're not getting killed for blood. They're doing blade jobs all the time. And now we're Rolling Loud, taking the PG crowd and saying, we're going to cross ground with something that's not necessarily so PG. We look at Sha'Carri Richardson just got popped for weed, and everybody's going off because it's fucking weed, man. Like, I'm pissed. Like, it's a travesty that she can't perform and do her thing. And granted, it's rules and all that shit. Fuck the rules. Well, we know what this is now.
I understand that now, and this is where I always not here not to be devil's advocate. Administratively,
it's not fair.
Administratively, it's not fair because the administrative has not changed.
Yeah.
So for like, and this
a lot of these people got rule makers. They're smoking weed themselves. Well, they're investing in THC companies, and I get it. And I get it. Like, it's the rules. It's the rules. Like, it's the Olympics.
Who created the rules that it's a 90-day clause if I release you? That's a rule in your contract that your ass should not agree to when you sign a contract. We saw Aleister Black because administratively there was a hiccup. So there does need to be, like we say, when something happens, there needs to be a collective whole scope look at what do we do administratively. Bitch, you release me. Why I gotta wait 90 days to fucking work?
I mean, that's on them to say, like, and that's on them to sign. And I think when you leave NXT, you have the choice to be like,
but that's what Sha'Carri Richardson. When you, I know it's situational. Mm-hmm. I know, bro.
No, I get it. Sha'Carri did break the rules.
So when we talk about,
I mean, with it being said, like, hopefully in 4 years, she goes out and kills it, and she just gives her motivation to go out there.
Bro, 4 years off your life, off your business.
Yeah, so she gets out there in 4 years and goes out and kills it. But right now, she's missing time. She's missing all that time, and she at least, she got the. Her brand deals are staying with her, so she's making money during this time. But to win a gold medal would have been crazy, So and to bring it back to WWE, keep it with the 90-day clause and all that shit, it's on the wrestler per se. And mind you, Sha'Carri just had a mother pass away, so I get it.
And the Olympics might not even happen, so this might be off or not because Corona. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So Japan just shut down.
Word.
Yeah.
Isn't that where they're supposed to have it?
Yes, you didn't see the news. Yeah.
No.
Japan shut down. So that's why I said all this might be for naught, which might give the administration time to kind of change it. So by the time Shikari can run, let's say we do it in 2 years or whatever, it's Summer Olympics or something like that.
Yeah,
the administration might be
and
it might be different.
if it's a 30-day thing, I mean,
Yeah,
if they push it back a little bit, Shikari might be able to do her thing. I know it's for wrestling, but we talk real shit here. But yeah, with the, I think that people have the right to make their own, like we talked about self-ownership.
Yes.
Make your own choices for yourself, whether it's, hey, I'm going to go over here and smoke weed, whether it's, hey, I'm going to sign this paper that says if I leave here, which one day you're going to leave that company, I can't wrestle again for 90 days. I mean, you might, depending on what that number is, one's like, this is going to change my life for the right moment, I'm going to take that, and then I will just have to figure out what I do during
90 days. Yeah.
Like Braun Strowman is doing right now, or Buddy Murphy, whatever. But who did not have to deal with that is Tommy M, Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want. As JR said, whatever the hell we're calling him. I was like, oh God, JR, I love you, man. Whoever he is.
Yo. I didn't want to be at work was a person, my nigga.
No, but that's what makes AEW so special. Like, because JR is still giving us classic commentary. It's just completely different JR. This is like old JR. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say what I want to say.
This ain't old school JR. This is just
old JR. Yo, this ain't old school JR. I love it. Like, the more and more he's doing like these little crazy remarks, I'm like, yo, JR is legendary, and he's still killing it.
Yo, shout out to fucking AEW. That was the show we watched previously to fucking SmackDown. And
Khan was on Tony
Khan. So speaking of Battle of the Khans, you know what I mean?
Battle of the Khans.
Tony Khan was on Dan Le Batard. I love the Dan Le Batard, man. Shout out to Dan Le Batard show, man.
He's killing it. He's
been killing. But Tony Khan was on there, and he talked a lot of, Dan asks us journalism questions that Tony doesn't shy away from. Clearly, him being in the NFL and things of that nature. He spoke about how the Urban Meyer thing happened, and how actually Charlie Strong is a wrestling fan. Urban doesn't watch wrestling, but Urban was down to fucking do it. And actually, Urban was at the show where Shaq went through a table, and Urban didn't know shit. And so like it was a good interview of insight of what AEW is, and it's exactly what people projected to be online. Like. I do know a lot of people are saying they homeristic. We talk about Eddie Kingston and shit like that, but like you do bat for your team. You know what I mean? Like, and it seems like AEW it seems like AEW has an environment that you want to go to bat for. Like you don't want nobody shitting on my environment because my environment is good.
When it comes to Eddie Kingston and his promo a couple weeks ago about how the other side and what they're doing and everything. My whole thing is, and we love Eddie Kingston here. We've been to his house twice. We filmed 2 podcasts there. Shout out to you, Eddie. We love to have you.
We love to have you.
I think that Eddie Kingston, as a wrestler, is one day going to be AEW champion. I've said it multiple times on this podcast before, and I believe that he's right now becoming better and better. As we already know, he's killing on the mic. Better in the ring. He's almost. He had a match with the Young Bucks with Penta, and he just brings an authenticity when you hear this guy. When it comes to Eddie Kingston. However, in a couple of years, if you're like, yo, my contract's almost up here, it could be a day where you show up at NXT and the place goes crazy because Eddie Kingston's not there to wreck shop. And that promo is going to look real suspect, put it that way, at that point. So with Bully Ray making commentary on it, it's like, don't talk about it unless you've been there. No, I get where Eddie was coming from. Like, he's making shit hot. He wants to just talk shit and make it fun for the fans that are back in town. And with the fans first being there, that passion, you're just gonna go out there and just talk, and just say whatever the fuck, and that's what we love him for.
And I think Eddie does, and I was like, yo, I was gonna be like, yo, I wouldn't have said it because I don't know what the future may hold, but Eddie probably know deep down in his heart 20 years. But who would have thought Styles would have went? You feel me? Like. Who would have thought Sting would have pulled up and got a check there? You know what I mean? Like, so we wanted it. We you know what I mean? And like you just said,
and pretty much the promo's not going to age well. But granted, I love the conversation. I
mean,
love that.
Riddles did the same thing about Triple H, and you know what I mean. The next thing we know is that
that's his best bud. Like I mean, when Riddle got to NXT, I know like Triple H loved Riddle, But at the end of the day, when you finally get to WWE and you're working with WWE, it's different than actually when you're working for the other team. I know if I was working for any wrestling company, whether it be MLW, ROH, TNA, Impact, I'm gonna sit there and rep my team harder than anything I have than ever, because that's where I'm employed for one. That's where I make my bread. But not only that, I want that place to succeed, so it continues. You build a bond there, you build a family, you build an environment with your coworkers, and you want to see that place grow, so that
it's growing,
it is.
You see Malachi Black appears. Andrade had his fucking debut.
I said it on Twitter.
I can see why I was calling it WWE. God
No, but here's the thing. What makes AEW different is that look at the two guys in the main event, though. They're not WWE products. And I'm just talking about Eddie Kingston. He's not WWE product. So they got a mixture of people that left WWE. Correct. And with Alistair and Andrade in particular, they haven't even reached their peak as performers.
No.
So they still got more to go. So when I look at AEW,
and I love AEW with the creativity, because maybe we'll see more of the intellect and the creativity of a Malachi Black.
And see where he goes with that, because I think that his look, his vibe, what he's trying to bring to the table.
Did you see his Instagram video?
Yes, I mean I saw images. I didn't see the whole video.
Oh my! It's 4 minutes of gold. I wish we talk about as a production company, like.
Shout out to us.
That was Black Marks Productions.
If you want to come shoot some more vignettes, we got you here in Florida.
But that shit was, Josiah was in there, and shit like that. It was dope. It was dope. And with the progression of Malachi Black and the projection that we have for him. Okay, he's an AEW. We're looking at the top of that card now. We're talking about Andrade. We're talking about Kenny. We're talking about Miro. We're talking about fucking Deathhawk and Lance Archer and Lance Archer and Malachi will fucking slap. That'd be hard him like shit.
And now they're looking at them putting pieces together, and they're coming up to 3 years now.
So they're on their second year.
This is their second year. Yo, that's not bad. That's not bad to know that. At this point, at least I'm not sure you were there. I'm at the point where I'm looking at AEW. If they can put on a show like they did last week on a consistent basis, obviously they can't. With a lot of, the first fans were back. The Miami, the debut.
Yeah,
you can't have that much, because the week before that it was a little bit of a dud. But if you can let that be your bar, like I'm trying to hit that, and what you did with Shaq, that episode I thought was a really good episode. When you guys put your creativity in the right places as a company, they can really be an alternative for a very long time. And with that being said, we're going to see a lot of wrestling moments in AEW that are going to matter. Speaking of wrestling moments, like I said a second ago, Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, where you stand with that? Because I'm in a place right now where I'm like, I told you a long time ago, Hangman's not there yet. He can't be AEW champion after it. And I think that at this point, they got into a place where fans, they really want to see him as AEW champion. Like he's and they built it gradually.
Do they want to see Hangman be champion, or do they want the championship off of Kenny? Because I
think that there's plenty of people that definitely want to see Hangman, because when he's gone through this whole thing with the Young Bucks and Kenny, where he's got to kind of get ostracized and he's not one of the elite, and he went through his drinking thing and he's still doing that, and then he has to find his misfit band, and they're trying to gear him up to go become the champion. The reason why I think that he is the one next is whenever I see Hangman holding the ropes and Kenny is there waiting there to get the clothesline, and it doesn't happen, I'm like, oh, they're building for a moment for when it does happen, it matters. And with that being said, he's never fought Kenny, because they were tag team champions, they were friends in the elite. They have the connection of history that kind of like a Shawn Michaels, Triple H would have, where you're not the guy, but you're up next, but you're not the guy right now. It's my time, and I like to see that kind of play out. If you want to give it a fair shake, the match is going to be good, and if you want to look at it like, hey, they built a storyline that goes with it, that where the fans can are gonna pop if, like, for instance, he kicks out of the One Wing Angel or something. They're gonna pop if he pins him. They're gonna pop if Hangman finally, who day one they were trying to position him as the marquee man in AEW. He lost to Chris Jericho, and then he lost to Kenny even in the past. So when it comes down to it, um, he's there. I think Hangman is at the place where he is been taken seriously as the main eventer. Now, as far as him on the mic holding that title, he will be now. It'll be like a first reign kind of thing, like a first reign for CM Punk or a first reign for a Kofi Kingston. They're building their main event stature, I guess you could say. When CM Punk first got a main event title, he wasn't CM Punk best in the world. Talking shit on the mic the way he was. No. He was a little bit downplayed. Same way with a even Randy Orton. You want to talk about their first reigns as champion. They weren't what they become. And I think that Hangman's at the place where he can actually hold the title. People want to see him as champion, but he still has more to do as for becoming who Hangman Page is outside of the Elite, outside of the Dark Order, as a own.
I think that's where I'm at with it. So I think the attachment that Hangman has never been by himself is really throwing me off, because can he be by himself?
Can he carry it? And that's the story that you have to tell towards this match. Can he carry the weight of being AEW champion
without, like you say, because he's not in the Dark Order. You feel me? Like at some point in time, Hangman has to win. Evo Uno Hangman. Because remember when we first saw the Dark Order, God bless his soul, I love Brody. We did not know Brody was the master.
We didn't, but we can do a throwback if you want to. I'm not sure if it's recorded. I'm not sure if it's videotaped, but I said this.
When Evil Uno was out there cutting the promos, I say, I like that guy.
Yeah.
I think that, and so if Evil Uno and the Dark Order turns back dark, turns back heel, turns on Adam Hangman Page, I will love that story.
All right.
I will, and that will force Hangman to kind of, like you said, detach himself, and he'll really be on the island. But
I think Hangman versus the Dark Order will be great, granted. But in 90 or so days, less than 90 days, there's a guy that's going to be on the market that I think that AEW has to scoop up real quick, and that guy is Brandon or Mr. Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, man. I think a Hangman Page is AEW champion, David versus Goliath against Braun Strowman or whoever he's going to be in AEW would be a great angle. A great angle. Going, and that would, I want to see that, and then with everybody else, got Kenny, Andrade, Aleister, Cody, you got Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, all in the mid-card area towards going up to main event area. You got time to then build Hangman as a main eventer alongside Braun, who's going to wreck shop. He's going to wreck shop in AEW. And then really get Hangman over as an individual.
The thing about this, though, if AEW is going to be different than what WWE is, if you have a
Hangman
monster,
win.
Yes, Hangman has to win. But if you have a monster like Braun, he has to legitimately be the havoc wreaker. See what I'm saying? Like they handcuffed Braun too many times with Brock, with Roman, where they took the teeth off of Braun, where he wasn't the monster he was supposed to be. When Braun debuts, he has to be almost like Paul White or the Giant, where he's hot shotting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that is what's gonna happen. That has to happen.
Yeah, that's why I think that him and Hangman will be like a David versus Goliath, get the babyface over against this havoc of a man. And
is it so much David versus Goliath with Adam? Is that Adam's a fucking hunk of a man?
I think if you tell the story of the Giant, obviously he's a hunk of a man. Position it like, he has to overcome such these these huge odds. I think a Hangman versus Braun Strowman in AEW would get both men over in a sense. And I don't think Braun needs to be champion right off the bat. I think that he can just be a guy who wrecks havoc for a while.
Okay. Okay. Outside of AEW, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not really a fan of the Bucks. I think that we already said that already.
Plenty of times. They're not for everybody. I'll be honest.
They are for everybody, and
they're even not for me sometimes.
I'm not gonna say they're not good. I don't want to go to the whole point they're not good or generational talents or great businessmen or great business minds. I don't want to do all that. They just aren't good champions.
I want them to drop it so bad.
Yes.
But I don't know who they should drop it to.
That's the thing.
I think they should drop it to Santino and Ortiz, honestly.
This is what they started this company on.
Tag team division was awesome at one point. Right now, it's they keep different pairings of Death Triangle, and we're not getting Lucha.
I don't know what's going on with Phoenix. I think he might be injured. He might be injured, so that's why they're doing it. But Penta Phoenix, Santino Ortiz, FTR, Luchasaurus, Private Party. Where my camera at? Why the fuck Scorpio Sky in the motherfucking tag team? Huh? Fuck, nigga. I forgot where I was at with my fucking list.
I think Scorpio Sky needs to pay. They don't need to be a tag team right now. They're both great single stars. Ethan Page plays a great, asshole.
Ethan and Darby had a great promo.
Great promo.
Ethan's great.
He's great. Yeah. So
I think
that coffin match is going to be.
Here's my hot take. Ethan Page is who we think MJF is. Ethan Page is fired.
Nah, he's a good.
Ethan Page
plays a good.
Ethan Page is fired.
Douchebag, you could say. He plays a good douchebag.
Yeah.
And I think that he's gonna be a great heel for the future coming. But MJF, don't be disrespecting my man MJF. MJF right now, best entrance music probably in wrestling outside of Roman right now. And why do you have Scorpio Sky in a tag team? Why do you keep putting Chris Jericho and MJF together? Let's give it a rest. Chris Jericho's great. He's a legend, not only in wrestling, he's a legend in life, man. He's been a rock star. He's been freaking Dancing with the Stars. He's been in movies, world champions in all the companies he's been in, traveled around the globe, legend in fucking life, yo. Tip the cap to Chris Jericho, you're the man. But I don't want you taking the spotlight away from Sammy Guevara and MJF, who just had a great main event match. Why aren't they building that angle right now with the Inner Circle rather than Chris Jericho and MJF over and over and over and over again?
Every time I see this is what I think.
Somebody suck that baby. Somebody suck that baby. Over and over again, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And Chris Jericho, I know you got an ego, but you gotta give it to the next generation. Give it over to Sammy. Give it over to MJF and get away from this angle so that they can flourish. MJF and Sammy tore it down last week. That was the best match on the card 2 weeks ago. And I would like to see them link and try to have that one-upsmanship with the Elite. I mean, with the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, rather than Chris Jericho always taking the spotlight from these guys. And that's what they should be building right now. And I hope this match is the last match we got to see with Chris Jericho and MJF.
I told Joe, a year ago, Chris Jericho needs to be on commentary. I told you. And you said Chris, and I was like, listen, Chris can't go. But when a nigga that age can go, that nigga that age
can go in sparing times. You don't need to go all the time.
No, but that's my point I was about to say. A nigga his age that can go with his cachet and everything that you said that he was, that nigga's going to push the limit. He's going to push the boundaries. And he's going to continue to, okay. He was on the Dan Le Batard show. And he does take pride in being the catalyst that AEW was strapped up on. So
I get it.
With that, again, like you said, with that ego, it's really hard to put it to the side. But
he was a catalyst, and I said he should be the catalyst because he was the guy with the biggest name at the time. And Chris Jericho, 2 years ago, yes, AEW champion. I was all for it. And I'm giving you credit for your matches going to Japan and doing what you did over there, bringing that over to AEW. I thought it takes a lot of balls and guts to do what Chris Jericho has done for the wrestling industry and just do it your own way. I give it all to Chris Jericho. But at this point, get the fuck away from this young talent in AEW that is coming up with crazy shit and putting shit together that, right now you're just you're past your prime. And I think that I'm not saying you should retire or anything. I'm saying do the microphone thing, commentary for a while, and then when it's necessary, it's like, yo, this guy might be able to be. You need to pair him up with Jericho to get a little bit more, tutelage, and let's pair him up with Jericho to get them over a little bit more and do a match or an angle. Then you bring him out as like a break if needed case, because you have that name. You shouldn't be in this inner circle thing and being like the main guy anymore.
Look at Chris Jericho is Macho Man in WCW. Somebody tell me.
Or is he Hulk Hogan in WCW?
I mean,
no, he's not Hulk Hogan because he's not booking himself into the main event all the time.
But I mean, you said that he can't go, and he's gonna go. You know what I mean? And like Macho's gonna go. You tell me I can't go, I'm gonna fucking go. And I think Jericho at the same time is like, oh, you say I can't go? Like, I'm 50, I'm outside of the demo now. You know what I mean? Like, let me still prove my worth.
Yeah, and I get it. If you take Chris Jericho off of AEW now for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, they'll be fine.
Yes.
So demo guy, whatever you want to say,
yeah,
they'll be fine without him. But you're good on the microphone. You're good on commentary. Stop getting your stuff over during commentary. If they want to chant Jungle Boy's music, don't bring up your own music. Talk about Jungle Boy at that moment. You gotta learn how to put over other people.
He's a heel though. He's Jesse Ventura, Bobby Heenan. Like if he's gonna be there, then if he's gonna be there, I do want him to be Jericho.
Okay.
In that sense, like if he's gonna be there, I do want him to be Jericho. You know what I mean? So. But I do feel you on your point that they need to stop the inner circle shit because, I ain't with that shit. But I mean, AEW was a good show.
Uh-huh.
I will say that AEW was it was third of the week.
Third? Okay.
It was third of the week.
I was gonna say second. I'm gonna say second. Well, you can talk about second when you're
I'm gonna say second was Tuesday.
All right.
Great American Bash.
This means that wrestling is in a really good spot because we got 3 shows we can actually talk about for like probably an hour each. But given it, I gotta give it to Great American Bash. I'm not going front. I think AEW did it with the return and everything, like the debut of Alistair, Malachi, everything came together with the Hangman being revealed as probably his next competitor a little bit. I think that they really put together a really solid show for Miami. The crowd was crazy, but Great American Bash, great. I mean, we say every single week with the women's division. We got the Cypher. We got Karen and Gargano next week. I think it was more of a setup because there was no, they're setting that up, and then the MSK versus Tommaso and Thatcher. That was hard. They killed it. So
and we talk about people listening to us online. Last time they didn't open up with the tag team, we killed them. I think the past 2 specials they opened up with the tag team. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So the tag team opener, they did because the 6-man tag with Legato and Brasserie opened up. So they are starting off with the tag team, and I was surprised at how they won, but I was very glad that they maintained the titles.
Yeah.
And I do believe that Thatcher and Ciampa needs to happen again.
Really?
I mean, I really thought Thatcher was joining Imperium. I'm not even
honestly. I wouldn't have minded if MSK cheated to win. I wouldn't have minded if they kept Thatcher and Tommaso together and then MSK cheated to win, just to they say we want respect. Let them get their respect by being. I think would be
by any means necessary.
By any means necessary,
That would have been a dope way.
You guys think you're so tough and
you thought you were so physical. You thought you were gonna outsmart me. We're out physical you, out experience you, out muscle you, and we just got some tights.
Yeah,
use the ropes.
Yeah, I mean, and then hold the titles and have they might get booed more, and that might be their turn to like get to who they really are, and get their character over. But at the end of the day, MSK got the victory, and I think they should have gotten the victory. I don't mind seeing these guys link up again. I think Tommaso and Ciampa work together. Tommaso and Thatcher work together. I think one day I want to see Tommaso and Thatcher versus Johnny Gargano and Aries one day, as maybe for the tag team titles included with the MSK boys.
So like a 3-way.
Yeah. That'd be ill.
fire.
That'd be fucking ill. Once Carrie inevitably takes Johnny out, of course. But I think the tag division, keep those guys together right now. I don't think we can afford to get that tag team out, because I personally take them legitimately now. I as a tag team, rather than before I was like, yeah, throw them together. Now the way they fight, the way they did a couple of matches ago with the Grizzled Young Veterans and Tommaso and Thatcher, I was like, oh shit, they're a little bit different. The way they kind of approach the ring, it's from a more physical standpoint. So from a more, I was, like you said, experienced, technical prowess, grappling and all that stuff. They feel like a tag team. They don't feel like they're,
like they're thrown together.
They're thrown together. They don't feel like, oh, there's two separate guys. They feel like they fit for some reason.
Well, I mean, they are, like you say, professionals, and they have worked in tags before.
Yeah.
So I think that plays into a factor. And when you talk about egos between two people, I think Thatcher and Ciampa are two of the less ego having guys on the roster. So if somebody comes in like, hey, you guys are in the tag, them niggas is like, okay, well, how do we make this fucking work? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, as you can see, niggas is throwing the cheers and shit now and sequence together and shit like that. So like, I do believe that like they are just being constant professionals. If that's the case.
I feel you. And if that's the case, then it works. I feel like they bring an aggressiveness to the tag division that I think is necessary.
Yes,
that is necessary for that division.
Absolutely.
Whereas MSK brings a certain spice and like a little what do you call it? The sauce. Like the specialness of it, like the high flying moves, the punch to a match, the spectacle. There you go, the word I was looking for. MSK brings a spectacle to the match. So I dug that. Io Shirai and what's her name?
Zoe
Stark. Excuse me. But they are the new women's tag team champions for NXT. There has been 4 pairs of women's tag teams within the 4 months since its title debut. A lot of people are like, oh, they're hot shotting the title or whatever, hot potato. I get it, because that division is fire. You can't have these ladies going out there getting seen, getting over, and not putting them on, just getting something on them. So Zoe Stark, I believe in her and Io. Do they need it? Not necessarily, but I do believe in Zoe Stark. What I wanted to see though was them lose and Zoe Stark turn, because I think Zoe Stark
Zoe Stark should be a heel.
Yes, I think when she gonna make her money as a heel. And right now she's very respectful to Io, and she's like, yeah, you're tag team champions now. That heel turn gotta happen, and I think that match is gonna be fire. Believe it or not, her Zoe versus Io, I think it's gonna go. So seeing them as tag team champion just kind of delays what I kind of wanted to see. But congratulations either way.
With that tag team title win, I was mad.
That's okay.
I was mad.
That's okay.
I wasn't. I'm not gonna say. Okay, so yes, was I expecting it? No. Okay. Man, I just they don't
need it.
They don't need it, and the story of them that has been told showed no rhyme or reason for them to be champion. So I was thrown off.
All right. So you're saying it was the best show? I mean, better than AEW at least.
Yes.
But you were thrown off by this tag team match.
Yes.
All right. Cool. Now, what did you think about the Cypher?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't. Oh, battery died. Okay.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, charge it. Gotta charge it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with the Cypher situation.
Can I be honest? Shoot, because I was telling you we were talking during this week about the Cypher, and what I said to you was it wasn't a Cypher. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like it wasn't a Cypher. However, I don't want to rain on their parade because they did a great job. I think what they're doing as Hit Row, I give them praise every single week. They're doing something different.
Yeah.
For NXT and to bring something new to the table. And there's a lot of white people like, oh, this is something different, but I'll give it a shot. You know, and it's like, all right, give it a shot. You know, because this is what we do. And I love what Swerve is doing because I said it before. We talked about Jericho a second ago. Swerve has the potential to be a Jericho where you are a legend of life, where you can just do what you want and be successful in all facets, whether it be music, whether it be wrestling, being multi-time champions. I see Swerve as a personality that can do game shows, can do all types of things in entertainment. I really do. He just has an it factor to him. However, this wasn't a cipher, and we talked about production in this podcast and the way I would produce it. I would have produced it just like the BET cipher, bro. If they came out there with the black and white screen and they came out there and slowed down the raps a little bit because obviously they're super talented. He can spit real fast, but we're like slowed it down a little bit so the crowd can hear you and they can react.
And they can adjust to it.
Yeah, the crowd it wasn't going. There were like two guys in the background jumping around, and then they were like kind of like, what's going on? But I love the performance personally. I love the performance. I think that they slowed it down, and if they took shots at people, like legit, like bar for bar, and then and everybody take their turn. Then when it gets to Swerve, have him real slow it down and really claim his North American Championship. And saying like there's nobody that's going
like a coronation,
coronation kind of vibe for him because we've been doing Book in Black for like 2 years with Swerve being North American champion at the end of every Book in Black, and we finally got it. So I'm excited to see him with a stable. I'm excited to see him do his thing, but I would have produced it a little bit differently.
And when I was stuck behind a dead camera, R.I.P. R.I.P. What I was gonna say as far as being honest. I did feel the same way when I watched it. I was watching it, I'm like, okay, it's a cipher, it's a live performance is what it was. I was expecting it because they did some things in the parking lot that I actually enjoyed and not saying, okay, I can fuck it. I can say I enjoy something better than another. Mm-hmm. So fuck it, that's what I'm gonna say. I enjoyed the things because it was a little bit more digestible per se. That was a song that you play on the earphones, you know what I mean? Like that's listen to the lyrics, that was a performance, you know what I mean? Like, but a cipher, if we look at every cipher that we done seen is and niggas is just rapping, or the BET cipher where everybody has their shine, you know what I mean? Like you say, or they could have even. I'd see Top Dollar as a battle rapper, so I see him a cappella.
Okay.
Battle like
I would have done it. I would have gone to Swerve being a cappella, so we can be coordinated like that. Let Top Dollar go on the beat. He had a nice Black Revolutionary tee. I love that. But when it came down to it, I would have produced it a little bit different, black and white. I mean, like
that photo that he had too, that spooky. That spooky photo he put out there, like that would have been the vibe of the record. Like it would have been pre-produced. I would have had a pre-production.
He could have dropped names like Pete Dunne. He could have dropped names like Tommaso Gargano in his rhymes, and people would be like, "Oh, that's what have gotten the pops from the crowd." And then we would be able to hear a little bit more and really coordinate him as North American champion. Because shit, I've been booking him as North American champion for a long time now, and I'm just glad that has happened properly. But more than anything, it popped the crowd on Twitter. So that's what I'm gonna say. It's like Twitter, people loved it. And maybe the crowd and the audience didn't really get it, but people on Twitter loved it. So it's working. Hit Row is a thing that is gonna be around for some time, and I'm really want to see them and Legato team like link up and do something.
I see Legato when Swerve poses, the North American champion, and Delgado hit him with the thumbs down and shit like that. So like, I'm in Santa, that's why I hit with the thumbs down. So I think that'll be a fire. I think that's
I mean, I'm not sure what they're gonna do at Warren Games this year because they're probably gonna do a multi-man thing, team this versus team this. But these two teams, they've been putting in work. And I think that they've had great matches. Great moments, and I would like to see them potentially, if they can get to the point where people want to see it enough, Legato and them, maybe plus a couple other guys in War Games. down the line. Now, I'm not sure who will be the faces or heels in this. It doesn't really matter, but I want to see these two
I
stables.
wouldn't want them honestly, I wouldn't want them in the War Games match, but I would want them.
I know.
would want them. maybe at the War Games pay-per-view.
War Games is coming up. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
like, we don't need to keep them together right now. We can bring it. We build these two teams up to that point where by that time War Games pay-per-view, where it's like, all right, you want to see this match, where you got. I want to see more of Top Dollar in the ring. I want to see more of Adonis in the ring. I want to see more of Legato. Do some stuff with some other guys that are more main event scene kind of type dudes. Like put them in Tommaso and Thunder together.
Honestly, you speaking of that, I was just gonna say I thought we haven't seen them on TV because they were going to the main roster. I can see
that could be.
I can see Santos. I can see Santos going on the main roster, going at the United States Championship.
Yeah, Bronson Reed might go too.
On some Narcos type shit.
Yeah.
I can see Santos coming up there being a Narcos character.
Yeah.
Coming up through the Mexico. My people. You portray my people as hopping the border and shit like that. And people before you have been aristocrats. People have been Latino.
What if he hops the border of NXT and the main roster on his own? If he debuted that way, where it's like, he just covertly comes in there and like attacks Sheamus out of nowhere, or covertly comes in there and Legato takes out, I don't know, Shinsuke or something. Like it would be ill if he just debuts on some covert shit and then goes after, like, let's say, either the kind of championship or
I would definitely like
because I think he talks good enough.
Yes.
And he has good enough matches.
Yes.
That he can be a mid-card champion.
Oh, for sure.
Off the rip.
For sure. I can see Santos definitely why. Honestly, saying that he is the United States champion, or he is the fucking Intercontinental champion because he performed and all. You know what I mean? Like obviously, I can see him do that for sure. Yeah. I love Santos. That's cool. Outside of that, yes, I think that was Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole had a fantastic wrestling match.
He can take out Rey Mysterio too, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle O'Reilly and
Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole had a great main event to like you said to put a bow on what Great American Bash was. It was so diverse. It gave you talk so much about Raw. Okay, you talk so much about fucking AEW. You talk so much about SmackDown. We're gonna give you a pure ass wrestling match as your main event. Like we've previously done before to claim the title as the best wrestling show of the week. NXT gave us what we fucking go there for. They gave us wrestling. And Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly tore that shit down. Adam Cole stamped his name and solidified himself the greatest performer probably in NXT history. But I can't say that because I said Io Shirai is the greatest NXT woman. Io Shirai is the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. I think Adam Cole might be popularity, title reign, faction, everything. Adam Cole might be the best performer of NXT history.
Damn. I'm going to have to think about that one. I am going to have to think about that one. I know you were our first character spotlight. We did a whole podcast on just Adam Cole years ago. And honestly, we already know the talent. It doesn't matter how tall he is, doesn't matter how big he is. He just has an it factor, a charisma that's undeniable. And then you put him in that ring, he can go. You know, him and Kyle O'Reilly, I think probably had their best match. And it's so crazy. Like seeing Adam Cole, there's a certain type of way that his matches are. When it comes down to Kyle versus Tommaso, Kyle versus Johnny, Kyle versus Kyle. Adam versus Kyle, Adam versus Johnny, Adam versus Tommaso. I think that there's a certain type of match that he has that can be a little bit formulaic sometimes. I don't like the Panama Sunrise move. I personally am not a fan of that move because the guy has to do the backflip and then he hits him with the last shot. But as far as the structure of it, there's always the falls and you're engaged all the way through it. You're engaged all the way through.
Even the Keith Lee match.
But that's a different type of match though. And that's the thing. When he links it with the smaller guys, he has a certain kind of formulaic match, and I'm like, okay, I kind of feel like we've seen this a little bit before. I kind of like have deja vu, but I still like it because I know that when we saw live in New York City, him and Johnny Gargano, I think is the best match I've seen, live ever. I'm going to say live. It's the best match I've seen live, probably. However, where does he go from here now? Like, where does even Kyle O'Reilly go? Kyle and Swerve, I think, could be great. But Adam Cole, you can't go after Karrion.
No, Adam Cole is main roster already. Like
he is.
I mean, he could just be like, yo, I've done it all, bro. Like,
get me the fuck out of here.
Like, Karrion, like, okay, honestly though, Karrion has to send that nigga off. That's just it. Like, Karrion got
so one more Adam Cole Karrion match, but
singles, one-on-one.
One-on-one.
No, that's why we getting Edge and Roman.
Yeah.
Right? We gotta get you one-on-one to get your ass the fuck up out of here. So Karrion's like, I'm a one-on-one nigga, and I'm gonna choke your bitch ass out. It's like a dog. You choke it. Squeeze the pipe out of it.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Karrion got to take Adam out. Karrion got to take Adam. I'm with it. And send him to the main roster. Pretty much, put him to the, like you say,
send that nigga to the gulag.
That's what it was. Yeah, send him to the gulag. Choke Adam. Send him to the main roster. I think that's where we go from here. However, we're talking like what match I'm waiting for at NXT is Samoa Joe and Karrion, man. Samoa Joe and anybody, literally, but Samoa Joe and Karrion. And the slow build to this match is going to be awesome because I think by the time we get to Takeover during Las Vegas, or if they're doing the same kind of crossover event with SummerSlam like they usually do that weekend, Samoa Joe and Karrion is the match. Because right now, NXT is at a place where they're on television. You got to book a match just the way like you book it on the main roster. You can't just say, oh, the hottest good match we can put in. Let's just throw it in the main event on SummerSlam or that weekend. You got to say, all right, we got this set up. Let's drag this one out to, our big show and, Takeover. Because Takeover in New York used to be like the big show in the summer. They switched it to LA, and now they're in Las Vegas this year. When they go back to New York, that's going to be popping again because Takeover in New York is a thing. That's where Bayley and Sasha was. They have classic go Finn. So go back and watch Takeover New York. They've always slapped. But now this year in Las Vegas, they have to have Samoa Joe Karrion. If Samoa Joe is saying he's still going to get back in the ring, which he had an interview where he mentioned that, he's definitely going to get back in the ring. That's where we go with this, What do you think?
I have to.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then get Karrion out of here, and he can go to the main roster too.
I can feel that. I think honestly, realistically, like there isn't a big enough name or big enough presence that can take Karrion out right now. You feel me? Like,
and then he would have 3 times.
Yeah, like he'll be the first ever, and then Samoa Joe will be probably up there in contention as the greatest NXT performer. But I still think
that's what I'm saying. Like, I want Samoa Joe to become the greatest NXT performer, and he can have a run. I'm telling you, Samoa Joe's next reign as any champion, I don't care if you give him a Cruiserweight Championship, it's going to be fire, But Samoa Joe, when he gets a title in his hands, he's just a different guy, and he just brings it to the next level. And working with Pete Dunne, working with Tommaso, working with Johnny, working with, Kyle, and having those matches with Samoa Joe is going to be great for the next run of NXT.
For that brand, yeah, for sure.
And then whenever Finn comes, I don't know when he's going to be back.
Finn's going on the main roster. I want a Finn
I want a Finn and Joe match again. I would see that.
I want a Finn and Fiend tag. That's what I want.
Oh God! Now so you don't want to see a Finn versus Joe match again, but you want a Finn and Fiend tag match, tag team.
Yes, I do.
A Demon Fiend tag team?
Yes, I do.
Don't give him any bad ideas.
I want a Demon Fiend.
No, you want a Demon Fiend match.
No.
You want a Demon Fiend match? No. Tag team.
No. I want listen, I want them to right the wrongs that they should and could have done with.
It's going to be some hokey shit, though. It's going to be whack.
Okay, here you go. Here I am talking and
go
trying
ahead.
to say.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, I want them to right the wrongs of what they did with Bray and fucking Matt Hardy, because what they did better was with Bray and Braun. You cannot tell me that Bray and Braun was not better than what they did with Bray and Hardy. It was.
But this is about Bray tag teaming with the Fiend.
Again, this is what I'm saying. They mishandled the tag team of Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. The broken Matt Hardy and the Fiend could have worked if they did it differently. And I'm saying the differently is give me the Fiend, give me the Demon, give me better writing, and I think that shit can work.
And I'm saying, if they got the Fiend and Matt Hardy wrong, why do you think they're gonna get the
Fiend and Matt Hardy wrong? They got Bray Wyatt. And Matt Hardy.
Bray Wyatt.
So this is the Fiend. They haven't mishandled the Fiend at all. Mm-hmm. They haven't mishandled the Fiend at all. And they haven't mishandled the Demon.
Who should have won WrestleMania? The Fiend or Randy Orton?
The Fiend should have, but Wyndham had to leave.
Okay. At this point,
I do.
I hear you.
Randy winning propels Randy to do what he's doing with Riddle. Because if Randy lost, the match doesn't matter at the end of the day. So let's get that together. No,
but I'm saying the way they handle the Fiend. That's what I'm getting to.
Yes.
And now you want to see the Fiend and the Demon become a tag team on a regular basis. We're seeing the Demon.
Not a regular basis. I think when you said I want to see Finn come back, I don't want Finn to come back to NXT for a trilogy with Joe. Because,
not a trilogy. It would be the trilogy. You're right.
It would be the.
You're right.
And I think they
got 1-1, right?
I have to go. They had the steel cage. Finn, Samoa Joe won at a live show, right? To actually win the title. Yeah. So, and I even think that might have been a triple threat. So,
I want to see them together at this point.
I'm sorry. Shit.
They linked every time they linked. That's all good. Every time they linked up, I thought the match was fire. That's me personally. So with their maturity now, and what they got going, what they, if Samoa Joe wins the title, and then he comes on NXT with the title, and then Finn's music plays, the crowd is gonna go crazy. I'm telling you, because we all know the history between these two guys.
Correct.
In NXT.
Correct.
For one more match, while they're in their prime, I think that it will be cool to see just one more time. So I think that right now is the time to do it. If they have Finn for a minute, even if Joe wins and then Finn then goes to main roster, I still don't want to see him tag team with the Fiend though. Like that, just have them have a one-off match and build this WrestleMania or wherever you want to do. Build the Demon up, build the Fiend up, have a match WrestleMania, and then that's it.
I think Demon Fiend would be fine. I may be blazing.
Maybe. But I think if they did it, if you guys are gonna do that, please hire him to produce it because I don't want to see shit on my screen with them. I don't want to see random nonsense, And when they do Supernatural, sometimes, as you know, with zombies and shit, we don't know where this might go, So we can go complete left, and you can't say that's not a risk. But Demon Fiend tag team, never thought about it. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
All right, here we are. This might be a longer show we've done in a while, but we have some shit to talk about. Mm-hmm. Next, we got Raw. And there's not really too much shit that I want to talk about Raw because I don't really care about too much shit that happened on Raw. Riddle, I do want to just give another shout out to him. Him and AJ had a great match, and he sold the shit out of that foot.
Yeah.
And the crane kick popped a lot of 80s wrestling fans and 80s fucking Karate Kid fans and shit like that.
He has the mind for it, man. He's really good at what he does, man.
And then the main event, honestly, that's something I took from Raw. So I don't know if you have anything else from Raw, but I was saying, it's a long week. I'm not trying to steal, but that is what I took from Raw was Riddle, AJ, and
they are. And
the War Raiders is going to win the tag team titles.
They better. What else are they going to do, man? They better win the tag titles, man. AJ and almost are holding that tag team titles hostage while AJ is in the Money in the Bank match. It doesn't work anymore. It's not going to be. It's not. The act is cool, but they don't need the tag team title.
Well, they did. Okay, for one, they did it for a reason. They did it to get AJ to be a Grand Slam champion because AJ is a Hall of Famer. And that's number one. I think AJ Styles is a Hall of Famer. I think AJ and Omos together was a funny-ass pairing to see on TV that stuck, by accident. And then they ran with the titles until somebody got fucking healthy. For God's sakes, what the fuck? Raw is riddled with injuries where they're just like, damn, can we throw another makeshift tag team out there to win the tag team titles? Because if we do, you're gonna hate it.
No, what they should have done.
So War Raiders.
What they should have done is they fucking broke up the Hurt business and kept the titles on Cedric and Shelton. Had them have a WrestleMania match with whatever tag team, would it be War Raiders, would it be New Day, whatever the fuck they wanted to do. Kept the titles on them alongside Bobby, rather than have them exchange and give Bobby escorts. You know, it just makes no fucking sense to me. I love Bobby Lashley. I love what they're doing in the ring. But as far as giving him escorts rather than having Cedric and Bobby out there just on main events and losing matches.
Don't want to call them escorts.
What are they?
They're women friends.
Okay. So Bobby's really like just in a polygamous relationship and they're all good. So they're escorts.
It's an actual VIP. It's a walking VIP section. And if you went, and as you know, we go out to the club, there are women who aren't escorts that
just stand around you and say, yeah. No, that doesn't happen.
I mean,
unless they're escorts.
I'm telling you right now.
Oh, they're groupies.
Thank you. I will use a different word than escorts.
Okay.
I would say that Bobby has a roster, man. I'm not gonna hate on him having bitches. I'm not gonna hate on no nigga for having bitches.
My point is not that you can't have him around women. My point to say is that you took the Hurt business away from him, and having the Hurt business around him with the woman, as far as the aura you're gonna give your champion, matters to somebody like me. Maybe the woman for you is like, oh, that makes Bobby look and present himself as champion, and he just comes out here.
Not even that, but I'm not gonna cut you off. So I am gonna cut you off. The idea, the two things that we're speaking about is the Hurt business and the idea of what somebody perceives ballers to be, right? And if we're taking a shot from what the show Ballers on HBO was, has been athletes or whatever that use their celebrity or their, who they were to have this lifestyle, to do what you portray to see what Bobby's doing. Bobby is trying to be portrayed as a baller rather than a boss of the Hurt.
And what do ballers do with their money? They pay for women. So I'm just gonna say
I don't think ballers. I don't know, but a lot of niggas with bread pay for pussy though.
They do. Kevin Durant does. A lot of them do.
What?
Yes.
You're breaking news to me.
No, they. Okay. You know what? It's a different conversation. It's a different conversation. But a lot of guys with money, even what they do is they see it. They go out. They find the best porn star or whatever they want to smash, and they'll pay for them to spend time with them. Deshaun Watson, whatever, Jimmy Garoppolo, they all do it. Like, they are ballers and they got money to do it, so they do it.
So when you see that with Bobby, you just like
that's where my mind goes, But
okay,
and I don't mean to disparage these women because it's all fiction for one. But at the same time, the aura of Bobby as champion. What I'm trying to say. The aura, of course, because this is fiction. The aura of Bobby as champion could have been way more impactful during his reign with Cedric and Shelton by their side, running the tag division. I don't need to see them in New Day all the time. They can do Viking Race, they can do whatever other tag team, even AJ and Omos, they could have defeated them. I feel like there's a lot that they had to offer, and now to see where they've gone with Cedric and Shelton booking Black. They fucked it up.
Yeah, let's go booking Black right here. That's the only thing that matters about Raw is how they're booking, right? So you got Kofi, you got Xavier. My hot take is I think Xavier might turn on Kofi, but somebody also stated that Big E could win the Money in the Bank, and if Kofi wins, turn on Kofi. So, it's a lot of niggas talking about turn on Kofi, including myself, which is not good for booking Black, but that's not what we're here about. Shelton and Cedric are hurting bad.
They're down bad. They left the Hurt business and just they should have the Baron Corbin story right now. I'm just
these niggas are hurting, nigga, bro. Man. Business is hurting for them niggas. It ain't the hurt business. Business is hurting.
Ever since I left the hurt business, business is hurting. Yo, what the fuck y'all doing with Cedric and Shelton, man? You got Shelton losing a carry in a minute, main event and shit.
Like, you got fucking Cedric getting pinned by
racist. Like, come on. This is ridiculous. Like, come on.
And hold on, I'm gonna keep it a G2. Swole ain't having Cedric around no bitches. I can tell you that now. So she would have got that nigga about to her business, her damn self, nigga. Cedric ain't go. Escorts, groupies, fans, nigga. You ain't gonna be around no bitches,
oh
nigga.
My God.
You know what I mean? So, nah, nigga, I can definitely see why, how that happened. But nah, man, I think Cedric and Shelton. I think what should happen and what can happen is MVP can come to them and be like, yo, grab them by the back of the head, like, you learned your lesson type shit. Now, you know, second opportunities don't always come. Mm-hmm. And then they're more aggressive, more meaner, more badder to go around with Bobby because Bobby ain't the United States champion no more. He's the world heavyweight champion. And when Bobby wanted to prove himself as champion, he didn't want to have them niggas around. I'm not gonna understand that. Bobby wanted, you know, I know MVP is around. It's different when you got your OG around and when you got your niggas that you feel ain't on your level around. And you like, all right, I gotta leave these niggas alone for a little bit to boss up type shit.
It didn't even come off like that. They just got the fuck out of here.
It didn't. But you know, if we're making up our own shit, which more than likely,
Bobby even mentioned it on a pod. He's like, that kind of hurt, you know, because he thought that was something special, and it was. You know, I bought the merchandise. I don't buy any merchandise unless I'm really fucking with it. I got Jay's shirt and I got the Hurt Business. You know, I really, really fuck with that. What they did with them, and then they now look at where Cedric is at. Where Shelton is at now, they got to build themselves back up from the ground up. When they had something going, then they broke them as a tag team too. Like, so I'm like, where were y'all going with these guys? Like, or was it to then teach them a lesson, or what do you think, like, about their act? I'm really curious who makes these decisions and why. You know, because the Hurt Business alongside Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania and having that entrance even would have been ill.
It would have been fine.
It would have been fucking ill. And then they just sparked things up with Drew. And, you know, and then did Drew over and over with Bobby until now, you know, it's like, all right, we know we're getting Bobby and Kofi.
And I think if you want to really take it right, if they wanted to make Drew equal to Bobby, Drew couldn't have kept getting outsmarted by the Hurt Business or outmatched by the Hurt Business.
He would have to take.
He would have had to take them out. So by him taking them out, they are essentially weak links because you know what I mean.
But so at the same time, if they drop the tag titles, let's say to the Viking Raiders or to AJ Owens or whatever you want to say, keep them as a tag team in the Hurt Business. Drew comes out there, you know, he has to go through Shelton, he has to go through Cedric. He hurts them, you know. Instead of seeing MVP with a cane, you're seeing Cedric with a cane out there, you know, taking claymores. He gets to be seen on the main stage alongside the champion every single week. Even if he's not the champion, it's better than him losing to a racist on TV and then having MVP, and Shelton, you know, on main event. So that's my way, and maybe that's just me being a mark, maybe just being a fan of these guys. But I think, like I was talking to Dustin, who you had on the podcast, one of my friends out here, he's a white guy. First thing he asked me, nothing about life, nothing about anything. He's like, what do you think about I got to ask you, what do you think about the Hurt Business being broken up? And this is months after the Hurt Business being broken up. I'm like, it made no sense. And it made no sense, you know, so all across the board, I believe that you put Bobby in a less advantageous position, meanwhile, while putting two other black men on your roster in a less advantageous position, even though I think Bobby and MVP are doing the best of what they got and they're killing it. And I think that, you know, Shelton and Cedric are, you know, doing what they got to do, going out there and doing the job.
I think, well, do you think it will pop you? Well, I know Cedric and Shelton had this crazy dumb feud that I don't even know if it got resolved or not. But would it pop?
As a matter of fact, what happened was Cedric went out there with a promo, and while he's doing his promo, Corey Graves kind of was shitting on him on the mic. Like, go back and watch it. Corey's like, oh, it's a long promo, and like, I'm like, during his promo, he's on the microphone, kind of like downplaying him, kind of like burying him. And I'm like, I noticed it. I was like, oh snap! Like, they must have something out against this guy. I don't know what the fuck is going on, So that's what I'm seeing. But at this point, I just wish them well, and y'all fix something up, because by the time SummerSlam comes around, we want to position Bobby as impenetrable. I know right now he's winning matches, but as far as putting that, that little stigma around him with this era, I think we can do a little bit better for Bobby than just give him women around him, groupies, escorts, whatever you want to call them, just women. The image matters to your champion, to me,
I mean, is Bobby in a less? I don't know.
Looking black-wise, get Shelton in the right position to uplift some of these other young up-and-coming stars on the main roster in some real angles. I mean, even a Shelton Matt Riddle match, I think, will be fire. And then Cedric and Alexander, him, I think, just going out there with the microphone and getting some more promo time, and maybe going after Sheamus will be ill. Or whoever going to be the kind of champion, or United States champion, Raw United States champion. So you get him some active, you get him some times get him some swings at the bat on the microphone, and get it out there to just continue finding his character. Because I don't like what they did with the Harpers. That was an opportunity for him to shine, and they just let it slip through their fingers.
I don't even have anything to add, because that encapsulates it all. Like, they did let us slip through their fingers.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's Looking Black shit. I mean, there's nothing else to say. That's where we're at with Raw. In general. I was talking to you before you came on the pod. I would like if they're pulling up Reina at some time during this year, I would like them to have her be paired with Charlotte. Let her be under the learning tree in Charlotte a little bit more. And I think her being a muscle for Charlotte and helping her win the women's championship again will be fire, because obviously Rhea Ripley has history with Reina Gonzalez, and her being Charlotte's muscle, even if she still holds the NXT championship while she does it, I think it would be dope if she kind of like is champion learning on the champion, and then takes the title of NXT to do her thing, but helps her win the title, because they are really dropping the ball, Rhea and Charlotte too, having them out there just battling with crutches. Is that the best you can do writing wise for these two ladies who are really talented? Both of them really talented? I don't think so.
I don't even care. I'm gonna be curious.
All right, there you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. There you go. I'm right. So I
saw that segment and I turned the channel, bro.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Charlotte and Rhea hasn't done anything at all for me, and my only encouragement was that I knew that they'd possibly be doing call-ups soon. So, we talked about Tony going to SmackDown. I would have liked Tony possibly going to Raw, but Tony is a SmackDown. I think Tony fits on SmackDown. I think Tony and Bianca would be good. Now I'm just projecting the roster and saying, damn, who can swap from SmackDown to make Rhea pop? Because there's no other body that you can play. Are you bringing up Candice LeRae, Dolo? And Candice going to Raw? Because Candice and Rhea don't smack.
I think that Rhea needs to drop the call, unfortunately. I think that you can't pop her right now. She needs more time on the main roster to have more history for us to really care for her as a champion. I think her history in NXT and her image is good, but they kind of botched it the way they brought her up. Her image doesn't come off like this badass chick who's just like, I'm here to take the title. She comes off as somebody who's kind of immature and kind of like teasing and like, oh, I'm in your head kind of thing. With Charlotte, she puts herself in a beneath spot rather than meeting them on their level when she's out there. Even with Asuka, they kind of showed her as dominant. But when it comes to Charlotte, they put her in a position where she's still image-wise on the storyline and in the script. She hasn't beaten Charlotte clean. She comes out there to make fun of her and say she's in her head rather than saying, hey, Charlotte, you want a title so bad, you're not going to play me. Come out here and get it,
I know we talked about Zelina winning the Money in the Bank. Naomi needs to just do something, please.
You don't like Naomi and Asuka?
No, I mean,
and
I mean,
almost superhero, or if you want to call her superhero in training.
No, I mean, where go? I mean, Naomi and Asuka are going to tag titles. Are going to have a tag team? Like Naomi needs to do something because here we are speaking about Charlotte and Rhea, and I can give a damn about
Naomi
neither
can't do
two of them.
no. Okay, all right, bet. So we're not going to go into a conversation on that, but for Naomi,
what about what?
No, because no, if you don't care,
no about Rhea, about
no,
what?
if you don't know about Rhea and Charlotte, that's where they are. That's what they're doing with them. But when it comes to Naomi's not gonna pop. Right now, she's in a position where she's putting people over, and she's been around. She's had her time. You know, she's been champion a couple of times. If you want to get her back to that place where she can be like switching things up a little bit, bring her to the fan, and that's not gonna happen for some time because she's on Raw. So once she gets to SmackDown or vice versa,
I think Charlotte and Naomi will really work.
Charlotte and Naomi right now.
I think if Charlotte, you say Rhea has to drop the title, Rhea drops the title to Charlotte, next up to Charlotte is Naomi. I think instantly that works. They're the two. They're still the two most athletically gifted women on the roster. We never got that feud on SmackDown when they had the competitive handshake and they respected each other. We never got that feud because I think Rick got sick. This would be a great way to rekindle both things and make Charlotte matter, make the women's division and the title matter, make Naomi matter. I think that'd be a quick microwave joint for her.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock it. But the holding pattern they've had Naomi in, and that she, you know, from one tag team to another where they rely on her, they take her top tag team partner, fire her.
But that's the switch up with Naomi for me. I would switch up the booking black. I would switch up the persona.
But we need to switch up her persona now to get her to the point.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, switch it now. That's what I'm saying. Like I would have her switch. I would have her switch the glow shit up.
Come out with Tim's?
I mean, honestly, like I know the glow is. I'm not sure if the glow is Naomi or the glow is Trinity. Uh-huh. So I would, if there is a separation of the two, I would try to separate the two for the simple fact that or she can make the glow about me. There's no more. Okay. I don't share my glow or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like so that would be what I would want to do. Switch up on Asuka. Uh-huh. Get her out the way. When Charlotte wins the title, she go up to Charlotte like, "Yeah, bitch, I've been watching you," and I'm like that and like you say, match. I think Naomi can match Charlotte.
Okay,
I feel like you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean.
And I will say this: Naomi cannot match Charlotte as a babyface. So if she makes it as a heel, which even in Team Bad, I just like the way she came off. She came out, she was having fun the entire time. She was with Team Bad. The glow thing worked for her because as a babyface, people are behind her. Before you want to say get Trinity, get that more authentic kind of like she can go out there and just say whatever she wants kind of thing, and it doesn't matter if it works or she can just be because she's a heel. I believe her and Charlotte with her taking cheap shots at Charlotte could work, but you got to switch her up now because you got to get people to buy into that. I'm not sure how much money she's selling with the glow stuff, but I don't think her saying, "Hey, the glow's about me" is going to work as much as switching it all up.
That's what. No, I mean, I mean, like, not the fluorescent colors, a spotlight type shit, like the glow, like, you know what I mean? The glow, like, if she wants to keep the glow, and just be like, I don't share my glow, or whatever the case may be, like the glow is just all about me, you know what I mean? Like, I would like that, and or if she can not even be a heel but a tweener, where like, look, no respect to nobody else, like everybody doing their thing, but like the glow is on me now, you know what I mean? And like I want whoever has the title because that's the shiny, and the shine will be with me because the glow is with me type shit, whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I feel you because you got Natalya and Tamina holding those tag team titles. You got Shayna, you got Nia, who are also a tag team, but they're kind of on the way out with that act. I think you got to figure how to break them up. For sure. So once you get them broken up, you have a little bit more flexibility in this roster. That's why on SmackDown they had no flexibility. You had to bring some girls up from NXT. And then Naomi can have a little bit more space, and all these girls can have a little bit more space to potentially be looked at as individuals. So there is a division outside of the tag division. But you need to have a tag division. I get it.
Because the tag division on Raw isn't the tag division that we see in NXT.
Not at all.
Even when they combine, even when they even now that they took Shotzi away Ember Moon, they worked as a makeshift thrown together tag.
Let me ask you a quick question, and this is a thought I've been thinking for a while. And since they made the NXT Women's Championship, was that a good move or a bad move? Because the fact that before the tag team division and the women, because there are not, and I think even for the men they should do this. Like there is just not as many tag teams as there used to be in the back of the day, where it felt like it was like a plethora of main event tag teams, like where you can have the acolytes feel like they mean something. You had even Dudley Boys. Obviously, you can go to the common ones, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge of Christian. But back in the day, I feel like every tag team had like a vibe about them. With the women's tag division, they're still trying to build it to where there's a lot of legitimate tag teams. And I don't mind them pairing up Natalya and Tamina, or pairing up, Shayna and Nia. But what I want to see is just one tag divisions between shows, because they used to say that this is a passport to NXT when they got it. That's what Natalya said. This is a passport to all the brands. Now, with NXT having their own women's tag division, it's not a passport to anywhere anymore.
I think with that being said is that they wanted a distinct separation between the two. NXT, I think it was a great thing for NXT.
Okay.
They couldn't book. They were booking secondary and third women feuds that we enjoyed, but they didn't have a secondary title to make it matter or mean anything. Now they have something that matters and means, and you can now utilize. They have a
MacGuffin, something that you can like tangibly chase.
Yeah, and honestly, they can throw 6 women in one match. That's, if you're talking about, that's half your roster. All right, y'all did perform. Y'all went out here. Y'all killed it. Y'all banged it. Y'all probably had the best match of the night. There's no gripe from fans when it comes to that division, because I just believe that the conglomerates between those people in NXT, like we say with Ciampa and Thatcher, is just to make it work down here. On the main roster, when you're on the main roster, like there isn't, like saying Naomi, it's a glow about me, nigga. Like I gotta eat up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I want you to touch on that, because I would like to talk to, because like if they had it as a passport to NXT, then there's room for these girls to have. So the tag division is really the entire roster, rather than the tag division being, all right, there's 2 tag teams on Raw, 2 tag teams on SmackDown, and we got.
I don't think. I mean, the idea when they made the roster, they made the title, was for them to utilize all the underutilized women talent.
Yeah.
Right, and when that was the case, that was the generalization of like, okay, we'll be able to. So and then once they started snipping away, and they I think when they created the titles at NXT and they created the titles at Raw and SmackDown, we now see this with Aleister Black. There are 2 different tiers of contracts. So there might be an NXT contract, and there might be a Raw SmackDown.
We had Shayna. We had Bayley and Sasha go to NXT and work. Why can't Natalya and Tamina do it? That's what I'm thinking. Like, why can't they have a And
they soon left though too to go get that specific bump and pay, or that specific, like, I guess
the contract still is not the booking. The contract's a contract. Does the contract prevent you from saying, all right, there's one tag division where it's
well, we look at. I mean, Aleister Black's contract was 30 days if he goes, and if he's with regular Raw SmackDown, it's 90 days. I do think there's a different language, and I'm not trying to get into minutia of the administration, but I am saying that when you talk about the women talent and going back and forth and performing, I do believe that when NXT start getting women from not just to develop, but when they started getting women that can perform and that they needed to do something with, they was like, all right, we don't even want to be attached to Raw and SmackDown. We don't need to be attached to Raw and SmackDown. What we do have is our own fucking bubble that, like you say, we talk about impenetrable. The only way you penetrate in is if you get to stay in, type shit. Ain't no in and out with this, because what we're trying to create is something that is holistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which they have. They have rounded out their new North American title. We love pretty much everybody who's held that championship. Their tag division, as thin at the time as it was, between only three teams of the Revival, American Alpha, and DIY, they made those fucking titles work without giving the Von Villains and Enzo and Cass and Lucha Dragons and shit like that. Like, they were good tag teams, but they weren't on the echelon of them. But they ended up being able to round it out. So I do understand why they do have.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean?
It's working right now for NXT. I can't say that. I just want to grab the conversation. But other than that, if we're talking about tag teams, one division, make Carmella and Eva Marie a tag team. They were saying the same fucking gimmick. So with that being said, I think that's the show.
You gotta end it with that bombshell just to make Eva Marie and Carmella a tag?
I don't fucking know.
All right. Do we have anything else? Do we
good? Wrestling wise, I want to give a shout out to Trish Adora, and I'm sorry, I was trying to look up her name, but she's gonna be in the first ever Black woman 30-minute Ironman match.
Yeah.
Can you please look it up? Because I want to actually put them both over. Check out that. I'm not sure where that's gonna be at, but I saw the trailer for it. And I want to just plug that. So everything happening with the indies right now, keep a look out. There's a lot of good guys. I know you've been talking about Danny Garcia. You've been talking about. We talked about Lee Moriarty going to MLW. There's a lot of good stuff happening that's not in WWE, not in AEW. MLW, Jacob Fatu still killing it out there. So tune in. GCW's killing. They got their own stuff going on.
Shout out to that nigga. I saw AJ.
Yeah, he knocked somebody.
AJ Gray knocked somebody cold the fuck out.
I wonder what the fuck that was about.
God damn. And I know that might have been I don't know the difference between work, but I ain't even finna say I'm smart and shit like that. Okay, so the first ever woman, it's 2D Lynn. 2D Lynn, I believe that is what her IG says.
Okay.
I'm sorry, her Twitter says. Wow, she's trained by Davey Richards and has a black belt in karate. Oh,
awesome.
She's a luchadora. All right, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2D Lynn versus Trish Adora, and the first ever two African American women, like you say, in the 30-minute Iron Woman match. And that's going to be on YouTube, only at BACW Grudges.
Check it out, BACW Grudges, YouTube. So, yeah, if you love wrestling, just stay tuned. There's a lot of upcoming people that are out there working, and I'm glad to see it. Like with everybody coming back, I know people are excited to get in front of crowds again and really see how they can use some of their shit. I'm sure like workshopping shit as a wrestler in your mind, and whether you're working or not, you're like, okay, how can this go over in a crowd? And so I'm really excited to see the indie scene getting back and popping. We got obviously wrestling coming back this week, Raw and SmackDown in front of the crowds finally. We got Rolling Loud coming up, so it's a great time for wrestling. You stay out there, guys. Stay safe. Go support us on all the medias of Socialness, RW Podcast 1 on Twitter. We got YouTube Reasonable Wrestling, Instagram and Twitter Reasonable Wrestling, Facebook. Check out the Patreon for our exclusive content. We're going to be doing a a reasonable debate soon. I'm not sure when, but we'll be getting into a reasonable debate and giving you guys that on YouTube and Patreon, and then exclusively on Patreon moving forward. What else we got? We got EIWshop.com. Go get the merchandise. Go get the papers. Go get all the shit. And that's all, man. It's been a good show.
It has. It's been a really good show.
Longest show in a long time,
man. It's like that build-up nut.
Pause.
We got into that. Oh shit! Oh man.
That's funny as hell.
The camera died. So do you want to keep YouTube up and or do you want to close this and then do another live stream that's private that we can use for?
Okay.
Because this camera died again.
Yeah, it was a long